No one can doubt his great acting skills. He is not just a pretty face. He is a very talented, warm and friendly guy who has undoubtedly won our hearts with every drama and movie. And not only that, with each drama he has gained more and more popularity, which is well deserved. But not everything is happiness in his life. His mother at a very advanced age becomes pregnant with him, but this marriage was not wanted. But when she found out, she was very surprised, as they thought she was infertile. At first she did not know she was pregnant. So she went on with her normal life, and that normality implied that her mother took several medications every day for an illness she was suffering from at the time. When they found out she was pregnant, she was very surprised because, as I said, they thought she could not get pregnant. But this would only be the beginning of a long road of torments and miracles. Her parents were very afraid of the idea of giving birth to a child who might be deformed, due to the many medications her mother was taking. That's why they were thinking of having an abortion. But in the end they decided not to do it and to go ahead in spite of everything, because the desire to have their baby on the way was stronger than their worries. When Park Bo-gum was born, he only cried, and it was because his temperature was too high. That's why he had to be rushed to the hospital. At the hospital they had been told that it seemed that the little one was suffering from a strange disease that made him look like a corpse and weakened him more and more, putting his life at risk. Long days went by in which there was no improvement. Everything seemed to end in the worst way, but his parents were not going to give up so easily. Those days in which he only got worse, the doctors told his parents negative things, like that he was not going to survive or that they should say goodbye because the child could die at any moment. Things that hurt his parents a lot, but they were very believers. At that time, the pastor of the church they were going to told them that God had blessed them with that baby they had. He advised them to get out of that hospital, so their father asked them to discharge their baby. And they went home, but they were not so sure of what they had done, for the baby was still very sick, and now his hair was falling out. But when they got home, the baby was still as sick as ever, and they didn't know what to do. They were very worried. So they decided to take him back, at which point they grabbed the baby and went back to the hospital. But his father says that when they arrived at the entrance of the hospital, an unknown force made them feel that they had to return home, so they turned around and went to the pastor. The pastor told them to listen to songs and pray for their baby's life, that God would do the miracle. They went home and did exactly as the pastor advised, and the baby came out and they went home, but they were not so sure of what they had done, but his father says that when they arrived at the hospital entrance, an unknown force, who was very sick, began to cry again. Little Bogan at that time began to elongate black waist. After a week, he was miraculously completely cured, but it didn't end there. Because the little boy also suffered from a hernia. And at the hospital he had been told that probably when he was 6 years old he would have to have an operation. But his father said that thanks to his prayer he was completely cured in 2 months. He said thank God again. Perhaps many do not know it, but it was the pastor who gave him the name Bogan, which means precious sword. But later he would live through another horrible moment, and that was the death of his mother. Park Bo-gum has lived through very difficult moments where his life was in danger several times, but it was undoubtedly a miracle that he was able to survive with everything against him. He said that his parents raised him as a faithful in their religious beliefs. The actor has spoken before about the strong relationship he has with the pastor.